In today's Overwatch news, Blizzard celebrates the holiday season with yet another Overwatch sale and a brand new stop-motion animated short. A brand new Lucio Nendoroid figure is available for pre-order on the Blizzard Gear store, and a missing new map could spell upcoming trouble for Overwatch in 2019. This is Master Ian Gamer, and let's get into it. So first up, in celebration of Christmas, New Year's, and the holidays, Overwatch is going to be 50% off from now until January 6th. This kind of sale really wasn't unexpected, as they generally do this sort of thing around the holidays, and it's basically just a way to hopefully get some more players to pick it up during Christmas when people are super interested in buying things. So if you happen to have a friend who's interested in getting the game, feel free to buy it for them as a gift, or maybe just tell them about the sale and they'll get it for themselves. Also, as I'm sure many of you have already seen, but just in case you missed it, Blizzard did release a new stop-motion animated short featuring Reaper, Tracer, and a plate of cookies. I gotta say, I love Blizzard doing these sort of miniature animated shorts, like shorter shorts. They're not the same sort of animation that we get with the bigger production ones, but it is always nice to see these different sort of video varieties. It seems to have been done by the same people who did the anniversary stop motion short back in May, and I gotta say, I'm really hoping that we start getting more of these, even if they are only a couple times a year. If you haven't seen the stop motion short, then I'll have a link to it down in the description, and I strongly recommend you check it out. Also on the topic of celebrating the holidays, we still have no word regarding whether or not Jeff Kaplan will be returning for another Christmas Yule log this year. As I'm sure many of you recall last time, he spent several hours on Twitch sitting in front of a fire doing various little interesting things as he rested in his chair. It was perhaps one of the most unexpected things they've ever done for Overwatch, and I think it would be awesome if they did it again, but we still have yet to see whether or not that will be the case. Moving on to some new merchandise, a brand new Lucio Nendoroid figure was recently revealed and is currently available for pre-order on the Blizzard Gear store. Unfortunately though, like most pre-orders, it won't actually be shipping for more than 6 months from now, so if you're hoping to get it as a sort of last-minute Christmas present, well, that's not gonna work out. Unless you want to get it as a Christmas present for 2019, in which case, go for it. It's a cool little figure. And our last topic for today is one that's a little concerning, which is the fact that we have yet to get any teasers or anything regarding the next upcoming new Overwatch map. Now, as many of you likely saw, about a week ago I made a video talking about the next map, when we can expect it to drop, where it might be located in the Overwatch universe, and which heroes it might have connections to, and I talked about how we were most likely going to be seeing teasers for this new map this past week. Well, obviously that turned out to not be the case, which actually means we may not be getting a new map after all, at least not as soon as we would otherwise have expected. You see, many employees at companies like Blizzard will take the last couple weeks of the year off as a sort of vacation, just as a way to sort of relax and celebrate Christmas and New Year's. So there probably aren't going to be very many people working in Blizzard's offices these next 2 weeks, meaning that they almost certainly won't be updating the PTR with a new map or putting out any new map teasers until the beginning of January at the earliest. Now, we were originally expecting the new map to actually go to live servers in January anyways, so that doesn't seem like it would be that big of an issue, except they actually have a relatively small window of opportunity in order to get this map out, the reason being the Lunar New Year event. Given that this year's real-world Lunar New Year is on February 5th, it seems incredibly likely that the event will be starting in late January. That way, there's a bit of time for people to celebrate the event before the new year actually starts, which is generally what we've seen Blizzard do in the past with events like this. However, another thing to note is that Blizzard always seems to space out major content additions by at least 2 weeks. So being generous and assuming that the Lunar New Year event starts towards the end of the final week of January, we only have this window of time for the new map to be teased, added to PTR, finish its PTR cycle, and then go to live servers. That is not a lot of time. If for whatever reason Blizzard doesn't end up releasing this new map in January, that means they will have broken the regular content release cycle we've seen them stick to pretty strictly since the game launched, which could possibly be a dangerous indicator about a decrease in new content starting in 2019. Now, before you get all worried and start claiming that Overwatch is dying, it is also entirely possible that this is just going to be a one-time sort of readjusting of how stuff is going to be coming out. Maybe the new map will somehow end up coming out in February, but aside from that, they'll be sticking to the same schedule they have been for the past 2.5 years. I mean, something similar to this even happened with Horizon Lunar Colony back back in June of 2017. Or it's even possible that the new map is somehow going to be tied directly into the upcoming Lunar New Year event in a way that it would make sense for them to release together. I'm not exactly sure how that would end up working out or in what way they would tie together. Unlike Rialto and the Archives event, they don't really have the story connection to go for, since Lunar New Year is just a real-world holiday and doesn't really have any story significance to Overwatch. But it is possible, and I don't want to just leave you all on some doom and gloom thinking that we're going to start missing out on new content. Blizzard certainly has options for releasing the next new map, possibly even still in January, but we are currently in a rather strange situation, and it is a little scary because we don't know exactly what to expect going forward at this point. As an optimist, I still have my fingers crossed that we will be getting a map in January, but unfortunately we're just going to have to wait and see. Of course, I will be keeping you all posted, and as soon as we do get any new details regarding the new map or the Lunar New Year event or anything, I'll be sure to keep you guys all updated in future videos. And that does it for today's Overwatch news. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Are you hoping that Jeff Kaplan does another Yule log this Christmas Eve? And what are your thoughts regarding the apparently missing map, which is supposed to be coming out next month? As always, be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this video and share it with a friend if you really liked it. Subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit up the bell to keep up with all my future Overwatch content. This is Master Ian Gamer signing off, and until next time,
Merry Christmas!